Hi, thank you for joining us. Today we're going to talk about programming the TFS series all-plastic paddle wheel flow meter. The flow meter itself is true union in design, so it's very easy to install into a piping system and disassemble it. You've got your unionized true union design, which allows you to change your ends from socket to threaded. We're dealing with a product here that is a DC voltage. It'll take anywhere from about 10 volt DC through to 30 volt DC, but it's recommended for this particular unit, and it's most common you'll find 24 volt DC. The flow meter is very simple to wire up. You're dealing with 5 different wires. We're dealing with DC power, so we're going to have a positive and negative, something that you don't find with AC. Well, with this particular unit, our blue wire will be our negative, and our brown wire is going to be our positive. So by connecting those two, you'll see that we've got power to the unit. You'll see that it's a bright LED display. This unit is already pre-programmed. There's no programming required or any type of calibration required for this flow meter to be installed. It's all factory calibrated. This particular flow meter with this particular head will have its own K factor in the unit. And that is something that is standard with the TF series flow meters. Now, when we're dealing with the TK series flow meters, we've got basically 4 different parts. We've got the flow controller, we've got the lead wire. Inside here, we've got a paddle assembly, which is replaceable, and that sits right in here. And these are all the same size, regardless of the size of the port, from 1/2 through to 4 inch. The paddle assembly and the electronics will be the same. Now, we can, as far as accuracy goes, the accuracy of this unit is plus or minus 1%. We can deal with, as far as velocity goes, right up to 32.8 feet per second. But keep in mind that for plastic piping, and we do provide these in metal, and that's why the actual flow paddle can handle that, but you should be, from a process side on plastics piping, run about your system about 8 feet per second. That should be about the maximum pressure velocity that you should be using. Now, when we're dealing with the flow meter itself, we're going to show you how to program the different steps. When it comes to the wiring itself, you've got a couple other wires here. You've got your white wire and your gray wire. They are going to be your relay wires for this particular series, because the TF series has a programmable 1 amp output. Then your black wire is going to be your pulse output. So what we've got is and the brown would couple up with the black to provide us with the pulse. And with this particular unit, we can either go paddle pulse or pulse per gallon. So 1 gallon would give you 1 pulse, and we'd be able to tell your pump when to come on and when to go off, or when to dose. That's all really done with what they call a pulse. And this particular unit puts out an NPN pulse, which is a solid state relay. Very fast and very, very long lasting, because there are no working parts. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we see that, okay, we've got flow. When we press the set and F button together, first thing that's going to come up is going to be our lock feature. Now, if we move this around, we can lock this flow meter out. 10 is unlock. But if you want to do your programming, you would set it to 14, and then you'd walk away and you'd be able to lock out the particular unit itself. Anyways, what we'll do is we'll go through it. We press the set and F. We're going to come to your lock feature. We're going to leave it at 10 for now because this will allow us to go through and program some of the other features. If we press set again, what we get here is a K factor. This is your flow factor. You do not need to change this because this is already designed. The 205 is the K factor for 1-inch pipe, already preset from the factory. You'll see that if you don't get back to the unit within about 5 seconds, it'll revert back to the home menu. Press your set, press your F, and we'll go right back into the lock. We'll press that again. There's your K factor, not required to change. Then there's your Alt 0. Now, your Alt 0 are your alarm conditions. So how you want your relay to go on and off. It's set up for Alt 0 as a default, and that means that if your current value of your flow going through the unit is greater than your selected flow that you program for your relay, your alarm will come on. If it's below, it'll stay off. If we went in and said, okay, well, let's change our Alt value, we go to the lock, we go to K, and we change that to 1, then we're saying if the current value is greater than your selected value, the relay's on. But if your current value is greater than your selected value plus what they call the D, and we will get into that, that is going to be your hysteresis. And what the hysteresis is going to be the amount of deviation you have against your set point so you don't get relay chatter. Because in this particular unit, the relay is actually a hard relay. It's a hard contact. There is a coil inside here that actually does your switching. So you'll be able to see your different things that you're able to program into this unit based on your relays. So we've got lock, we've got your K factor, we've got Alt. We're going to switch that back to 1. That's the default. And then you've got your Con E. Now, this is, once again, this is a standard. And we could either go Con E or Con F. Your Con E is your 1 pulse per gallon. Your Con F, if you press it again, is your paddle pulse output. And that means every time this paddle passes that Hall transducer, you're going to get an output. With this particular flow meter, that is a maximum of 5 kilohertz would be your maximum. But with this, we find that most customers, when it gets involved with dosing pumps, like the fact that you get 1 pulse out per gallon. So if we go back, press it once again for 3 seconds, lock, Alt, Con F, we'll change that back to Con E. And this is your time delay. And this is just, what this does is when you're dealing with initial setups and when you're shutting systems down, it allows for about 20 seconds of flow to pass through your flow meter before it becomes active. So you don't get relays going on and off when you initially start up your system. So you can change that particular time, but it comes standard as 20 because it seems like a lot of systems, before they hit a stasis position, the 20 seconds is a pretty good set point. So we press set. Now everything we've got in there is programmed into your flow meter. The only thing we have to do now is program our relay. And it's as simple as this. All we have to do is press set, hold it for about 3 seconds, and now it starts flashing. So your standard's going to be 100. I can press the F button to move it back and forth. And then I can press the up and down arrows. Now this will be in gallons per minute. So at 100 gallons per minute, I can have this flow meter switch on based on that Alt 0 or Alt 1 or Alt 2. That all comes around this particular set point. So if we were to set that, let's say for 109 gallons, we would press set again. And this is, we did discuss, this is the delay time. This is in gallons. This is the, allows you plus or minus, so it would be 109 would be our set point, but it would, the hysteresis would be 110 to 108. And once again, that prevents what they call relay chatter. And we put that into the guide for you, into the manual. We explain what that's all about. But once again, setting your relay is as simple as holding set. And there's our relay set point. And once again, we can change it to whatever we want. And we press set. Our delay is plus or minus 1 gallon. Press set again. The flow meter is good to go. Thank you.